Well, good afternoon, SLAE family. Happy Tuesday to you. I am very thrilled to introduce our guest because this is one of my very favorite charities, and I have been looking forward to the day that we could feature them. So today we are joined by a very special guest, Jessica Pettit, and she is with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So if you could take a second and say hello, Jessica.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. It's so nice to be able to speak with you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And before we dive in, I want to let you know that she is the Director of Marketing and Communications. And not only that, but she's also a proud mom of two very cute little toddlers. So just like all the people watching this, she juggles everything. But thrilled to have you here. And I know your background was working with children before you started with the foundation, correct?
That is true. Before this is at Imagination Stage, which is a large children's art institution in DC. So huge passion about working with children and family and everything we can do to make their lives a little bit better and a little bit more joyful.
Oh, that's incredible. And the Make-A-Wish Foundation is an organization that my husband and I have loved for years and years and years, but I know not everybody is familiar with it. So can you take a minute and maybe share how it was founded and what exactly it is that you do for children?
Absolutely. So our mission is to provide life-changing wishes for kids in critical conditions. So we meet families where they are when they have children who are diagnosed with a critical illness and grant wishes to hopefully bring them joy and hope. We are founded about 45 years ago, and our first wish was a wish to be a police officer in Nevada. And since then, we've grown to an international organization. We have 60 chapters across the United States, granting thousands and thousands of wishes each year. I'm representing the Mid-Atlantic, so we grant wishes in the DC, Baltimore, Maryland, and Northern Virginia area. Very proud of the work we do. Last year, we granted 234 wishes. This year, we're on track to surpass that, which has been very fantastic. Our goal is to make sure that every child in this region who is diagnosed with a critical illness receives their wish. And we are on track to hopefully do that. And we work very hard every day to just bring joy and meet our families where they are.
So amazing.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, you're with the Mid-Atlantic chapter, but this is all across the country. So
Right.
if
Yep.
people are tuning in elsewhere, they can get in touch with the region where they are.
Absolutely. We have 60 chapters working across the United States. So no matter where you are, there's a chapter doing this work in your own backyard, which is very rewarding.
Excellent. Now, before we talk about the impact and some other things, I think it's kind of fun if you wouldn't mind maybe sharing a wish or two, something, without, you don't have to give the child's name, obviously, but a child who had an illness and what you were able to do for them.
Absolutely. We meet so many wonderful kids every year, and they all touch our hearts with their unique story. One of my personal favorites is a child named Dylan. She's from Maryland. She's 6 years old. She was my very first wish that I was able to work on about a year ago. She was diagnosed with a pretty medical complicated history, but had to have a kidney transplant in the middle of the pandemic. So she was in and out of hospital care. Yeah, but had the biggest smile throughout it all. Just so much joy in this little girl. Through it all, she loved playing hockey with her big brother, and her dad coached hockey, and that was their family pastime. But of course, during the pandemic, she wasn't able to participate. Actually, one of her brother's teammates' mother was her transplant donor. So they were really connected to the hockey community. So our team came in, her wish was to have an indoor hockey rink. So we renovated their entire basement to be a complete hockey space. We laid down synthetic ice, got all the gear she needed, worked with our local hockey team where Capitals fans out here, and they sent players out to see her. They sent videos and gear, and it was just an amazing experience. So I'm happy to report she's doing very well with her transplant, and has been able to play a ton of hockey, even though she has to stay home still. So Dylan is very near and dear to our hearts. Yeah.
There's so many parts of that are amazing. First of all, any 6-year-old facing anything like that is tough enough, but doing it during a pandemic too.
It's a new challenge. All of our families went through a really rough time the last few years, for sure, as we all did, but going through the medical system in that time is extra scary.
But for you to be able to, bring joy to her, get it in her basement, that's incredible. And then get some of the players to be involved in it as well. It's so exciting.
And one thing I love about our wishes is when you think Make-A-Wish, lots of people think about meeting your favorite celebrity or going to Disney World. And certainly that's a big part of what we do. But some of the ones in our own backyard are super meaningful. In a couple of weeks, we're granting a treehouse wish for a little girl named Kelly who has cancer. And the day that she will get her treehouse is the day she finishes her cancer treatment. So we are really excited to honor her in that way. and be with her in that time.
So I guess you have to get people to go to their property and build this?
Yeah, absolutely. So we worked with
That's
local
awesome.
contractors to make sure that they got all the materials out, designed it. She has an interior decorator working with her to design the inside. She's gonna have bunk beds because her and her sisters want to sleep under the stars. And it just is going to be just her dream situation. And it's really fun. Our team gets to be really creative and have to be magic makers every day to make it come together.
So that not only requires finances, but coordination. You had to find an
Mhm.
interior decorator and someone to build this, and that's all done by your organization.
Yeah, we have a team of wish makers on staff who all day, every day are out there granting these wishes. And then we have a wonderful community support at our chapter and across the nation. So we have our designer we've worked with forever on this wish, and she's coming out to do it again for us. We work with local businesses to donate supplies or help us get a discount to make sure that it's possible to do these crazy wishes. So it's been really wonderful. I have to say the whole community comes around our wish kids, which is one of the things that I find super special.
I can't imagine not being compelled or inspired to want to help if something came along and you could do that.
Mm-hmm. It's
Now,
I have to say, I'm always floored by the generosity of people when you call up and tell the stories of these children. They're always so willing to help out.
I think that anybody, especially a parent, if you're a parent, you just can't help but have your heart go out to some poor child that's going through all that. And
Absolutely.
How magical that you could do that. Now, it isn't just the incredible joy and excitement that you bring, which is a huge part of it, but there's some other impact on these kids too. Isn't there?
Absolutely. We like to say that a wish is not just nice, it's necessary. We have had many studies that show the medical impact of a wish. Our wish kids, often the doctors report that they have better medical outcomes because of their wish experience. They are more likely to comply with treatment. They feel more joyful and hopeful. I think we can all relate to how scary it is when you're going through something uncertain. We've all just went through this pandemic and how those fears of the medical unknown, and having just that little piece to look forward to has really shown that it can have real impact, not only on their well-being, their social emotional health, and their long-term health outcomes, which is wonderful.
That's just awesome. That's like being Santa Claus every day.
It kind of feels that way sometimes.
I might switch careers. I'm like, that would be so cool to be able to do that for all these kids. You must get so attached to them.
Oh, it makes me smile every day. We feel so much joy for every single one of them.
That's just remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. So you have a website that has all of this information, and then there's also ways people can get local information too. Would you share that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're not in the DC area, go to wish.org. You can find your local chapter or connect with our national office who can connect you with the right place in your own backyard. We are at midatlantic.wish.org. That is for people who are listening in the Baltimore, Maryland, and DC and Northern Virginia area. And that's where we'll post things about getting involved, whether it's donating, whether it's volunteering, whether it's attending a fundraiser or hosting a fundraiser. There are so many ways to be plugged in, which is very
fabulous. And you have a Facebook group too that people
we do. So it's Wish Mid-Atlantic on Facebook, and that is where we like to post our most urgent needs. So things like donating directly, things like donating to an Amazon wish list, volunteering. We have more than 230 volunteers in our area who help us grant these wishes very directly with the families. And so when we have a need, we put the call out there.
That's great. So supporting you, that's a big thing. Obviously, financial donations always are great because then you can do whatever you need to do. But you just mentioned quickly that there is also in the Facebook group, there's some Amazon listings and other things. So, I'm as guilty as the rest who has bought something on Amazon in the last 5 minutes,
Totally.
Nowadays. I think Amazon has benefited more from this pandemic than anything in the world. But people can go, and if they're going to shop on Amazon, they can meet some of your needs. So even if they can't make a big donation, some little supplies and things would help you.
Absolutely. When we have a call, we put it out there, and that could be everything from things that are needed to make wish happen, whether that be a shopping spree or a specific toy or thing that the child really wants, or it can be kind of those intermediate. So we try to send kids wish little boosts that encourage them during their medical journey. So that's a way to plug in for sure.
So if they have like a long-term wish, they might get a couple little surprises along the way.
Yeah, some of these wishes, as you can imagine, don't happen overnight. And so we'll have little moments, especially our volunteers, they love coordinating these things where we send a toy or a card or something just to remind the family that we're thinking of them and we want to be with them through their whole journey.
That's incredible. And I can't imagine, you said overnight, how in the world you put a rink in someone's basement is mind blowing. I'm just
We
excited.
have an
We just had
amazing
our
team. I
bathroom
gotta give them
renovated, and I'm
credit.
like, how did you get a rink in the basement?
I will say our team becomes experts in things you would never even think about very quickly.
I bet there's some people on staff that now know a lot about hockey they did not know before.
More than they did when they started, for sure.
Absolutely. So there is ways to support. You could donate or get things on Amazon, but volunteer. So, there are always
Yeah.
people who might be in a place where they have time, but not money.
Yeah.
Some people have money, but not time. But if someone wanted to give their time, can you give us some examples of what they can do? And also, does it need to be in person? Is there anything they can do virtually? What are the
Yeah.
options?
Absolutely. So we, as all the Make-A-Wish chapters, but us especially too, have wish granting volunteers, and their role is to meet with the families, learn about the child, help guide them through the wish process. It's a big commitment, but it's also a big reward because they're working directly with the people that we're serving on a daily basis, which is really wonderful. They do virtual meetings, they do some in-person things as well. So it kind of ranges the gamut about what's medically appropriate for the child and what the needs are at that time. In that area, we're always looking especially for Spanish-speaking volunteers because we have a lot of Spanish-speaking families. But in general, we always are looking for people to help out. Beyond that, we have event volunteers, so people who maybe want to show up for a day and help us at a big fundraiser or things like that, just to keep things moving and participate in that way. And those are also very welcome.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about the events. Do you have any upcoming events?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, our next one is our Golf Classic, which is in Baltimore region. And it's on Indigenous Peoples Day this year. We're really excited about that. So we'll have a whole bunch of teams come out, compete, and raise money for local Wish kids. After that, we'll have our Wish Ball, which is our big annual gala, which is a great way to get involved and to volunteer. That happens in downtown DC. And those are our two big ones. We're kind of rethinking the rest of the season, but that's where we are right now.
Sure. And the one in the fall, the gala, when is that? Did you have date information?
Yeah, it's in February. So
Okay,
it'll be in February this year. And those details will be announced very soon.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm sure that will all be in the Facebook group if you're in the Mid-Atlantic.
Oh, absolutely.
And I would assume that, let's say someone's in the Midwest or the West Coast or wherever else they're watching this, that there are similar things going on with their.
Yeah, absolutely. Your local chapter will have very similar opportunities throughout the year. And those vary by region, which are fantastic. Because one of the things I love about our Make-A-Wish is that every chapter is so connected to their local community and so committed to serving their own backyard first, which is wonderful. So I encourage you to check in on their pages, like I said, wish.org, and you can find your local region and they will have all that information for you.
Well, I'm so excited to have you here. And for those of you who are watching this, if you are watching it live in the Facebook group, Jessica's been kind enough to join the group, so you can message her, leave her notes, etc., and she'll be able to see that. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can leave comments there below. If you are watching it on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up or a comment, because that will help drive this out so we can have more people. I just learned recently, the more that stuff goes on, the more people will see it who are looking. And we want people to learn about this awesome organization. And if you're a parent and you are blessed enough, I'm very blessed to have a healthy child, it just really makes you appreciate that so much and want to not only support these children, but I can't imagine being a mom and having to face something like that either.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, as inspiring as our Wish kids are, our Wish parents are as inspiring. They live that journey every day, and they are so, just the light in their eyes when their kids' wish is granted is one of the biggest joys.
It's got to mean the world to them for you to do something like that for their children. It's amazing. Well, I am so grateful that you're here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for having me today.
Oh, I'm thrilled to. And, we're going to leave all the information below, so you can just go right below to the comments and get the website, get all the information. If there's anything you can do to support. Oh, one last question. If someone was a contractor or had some skills.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to reach out directly to your chapter or reach out to me if you're in our region. Those, especially things like construction wishes or shopping sprees and things like that, happen all the time. Puppies, we have tons of puppy wishes. So anything in those spaces are things. And then if you are a business owner, we do a lot of wish celebrations, which is a fun way to get involved. So we have people who donate cupcakes and food and things that you wouldn't think of when you think of the big wish, but really are those extra boosts that make that wish special.
Oh, that's lovely.
And your local chapter would love to hear from you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again. Such a pleasure to have you here, and bless your heart for everything that you're doing. Those are some wild, wild wishes and miracles you're pulling off.
So it's really fun, I have to say.
Absolutely. So thank you all for tuning in today, and we will be back next week. Have a great week. And if there's anything that you could do to support an organization like this, it would be fabulous. I'm going to go onto the website right now. So thanks so much. Have a great day, everyone.